You want to support Roland Martin Unfiltered? Be sure to join our Bring the Funk fan club. Every dollar that you give to us supports our daily digital show. There's only one daily digital show out here that keeps it black and keep it real as Roland Martin Unfiltered. Support the Roland Martin Unfiltered daily digital show by going to RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. You can make this possible. All right, folks, let's now talk about the PPP program, which is all about small businesses. The Payroll Protection Program. It's been a disaster for a lot of small businesses. 95% of African-American businesses, no access. 90% Latinos, same thing. People have been saying, what the heck is going on? Is there any money left? How do you even get involved with it? Is it too late? Financial consultant Bridget Gagne joins us right now. She's also having a virtual summit tomorrow that you can be a part of, the Payers Bankers with Small Businesses. She joins us right now. Bridget, first and foremost, we hear reports that they ran out of money on Monday, and so why should folks continue to apply? What's the deal? Have they run out of money? Are they still giving out loans? What's the status?
Well, I was speaking to a couple of bankers today, and they're saying continue to apply. They still have money. I was talking to some regional banks today, and they said keep applying. That was today. They said it could change tomorrow, but to go ahead and apply for the money. So it's still available. One
thing people don't understand is, again, the rules are different. So, for instance, right here, we applied for the program, and waiting back to hear if it's a yes. I was told it's a yes, but here's my whole deal: until the money shows up, it ain't a yes. And you really got to go through the rules. One of the things that my CFO said is that, luckily for us, we use a payroll service, and for the folks who don't, we were able to get that documentation and then be able to submit it. Not that simple. And so I don't necessarily know if the folks who set the rules understand the reality of how a lot of small businesses do business.
Right. And I agree with that. I think that it's important for us to remember that there are rules to follow and that we should have documentation in place. And I know it's hard. It's hard for us as business owners, small business owners in particular. But you're right. The payroll companies did have access for our clients that we got funding for. They did have a payroll service company, and they were able to access those funds. And so we're hearing a lot of different things out here in the marketplace. And that's really what we want to talk about in our summit, is what's really happening with what the banks are saying, what the regional banks are saying. We work with a lot of regional banks, and so the regional banks and the smaller banks and the black-owned banks are saying we still have capacity, we still have money out there. You got to have the documentation you need, and that's really important. And so that's what our summit is about, is really giving people hope that there's still money available out there. It is. There's some. I literally, like I said, I spoke to 2 banks today, and they're like, keep telling people to come apply. One
of the other issues that we also discovered is that when you start getting down to the nuts and bolts of this, so for instance, you had to have full-time employees. You can't use 1099s. But if you look at most small businesses, they aren't able. Look at Black African Americans. There are 2.6 million Black-owned businesses in America. 2.5 million have 1 employee. If you actually have, quote, an employee, they probably are going to be a 1099. They're not going to be a full-time employee. So the problem with this bill, you can't actually, you're trying to save the job of a 1099, but you can't list them on your application. And so now what happens is, now the rules are, well, the 1099 can apply for themselves. If you were an individual who's getting the 1099, the likelihood of you trying to apply as an individual and getting it, come on.
It has happened, though. People have gotten it.
But this is one of those things where I think where the feedback to Congress should be, hey, while you're creating the rules, let me show you what the reality is for a business. And so I think it would be smarter if the next round, where they change it to allow the business to be able to qualify using 1099s versus having the 1099 as an individual try to apply to PPP.
Right. So, I totally get that, and I understand wholeheartedly about the 1099 situation. What happens, though, is that as 1099 contractors, you're putting yourself out to be a business. That's what it is. And so it's also up to the business owner to make sure that they're classifying their their people as W-2 employees. I know we're trying to minimize taxes, but somebody still has to pay those taxes. So there's a lot to this that we need to understand as businesses and business owners, because I get it. My clients have 1099 contractors. I have 1099 contractors as a CPA firm as well, and we have to play by the rules, even though the rules are hard for us. And so it's like, how do we work with our banks and the businesses that we work with, to make sure that we're being able to get the resources that we need. The money's there. 1099 contractors can apply. There's the EIDL that people could apply for. I think it's important to have the conversation not only about right now. I know people are hurting and they need funds, they need resources, and we want to bring hope with our summit to say, hey, look, this is what you have to do. This is the rules of the game. And sometimes we just don't know the rules of the game. So if we don't know the rules of the game, then when all this legislation comes out, we're not operating accordingly. So then we get missed out. So it's a both and, right? It's like, are the business owners doing what they're supposed to in terms of having their employees classified the way that they are? Are the employees or the W-2 contractors understanding what the implications are of being a 1099? So we got to look at this really holistically and making sure that everybody's doing their part. And yes, I agree, Martin. Most of our businesses are small mom and pop businesses, but are they really businesses? You know what I mean? And so the rules are set up for businesses. And so, again, for us with the summit, we want to talk about how you can establish a relationship with your bank to make sure that this doesn't happen, and that maybe you get the funding, get funding before a crisis happens and being positioned for it. And are we really running our businesses like we really should? And so we want, again, it's about really, COVID is now, it's going to go away. We're living a new normal. Are we prepared for the next level? Are we prepared for the next round? And that's really what we're here to talk about. That's what our summit is about, is saying, look, let's do what we can, keep applying for the money, get help where you can, get the money, and the EIDL money is still slowly coming too. I mean, part of the problem is that the banks aren't able to process as many as they have. I talked to one bank that said, let's say we process 100 banks a year, we're doing 100 a week. So some of it is the money's just not getting out fast enough, even though they have it in their coffers, just because they're regulated. They got to make sure they meet the regulations that they're required to. The banks, because if they give this money out and there's fraud or there's other things going on, they're responsible for it. So the banks are kind of itchy about, okay, how am I going to make sure that I'm not going to be stuck holding the bag because will the SBA honor the guarantee that they said they're going to give us? When are we going to get paid? So the banks are nervous too. And so they're slowly, getting through process internally so that they are able to make sure that they can serve their customers and the people that they work with. And so the big banks, what they did was they found their best customers. As we've heard stories about, these Fortune 500 companies that are getting PPP money, that's who it wasn't intended for. So the wrong people are getting the money. And so well, then whose fault is that? What happened with the regulation that it was for people with 500 employees or less, but large corporates are getting the money? So we have to be really careful about, okay, where's the real problem? What's the real holdup? This has never happened before. The banks have never had to do this before. The SBA has never had to do this before. So we're all trying to figure it out. We're trying to make sure that people can get money, they can survive. And I was listening to the speakers before. I mean, this is, as we all know, I'm not saying anything no one knows. We're in unprecedented times, and it's like, okay, what do we do to prepare for what life, the new normal, is going to be? And we really want to encourage people that a new normal is coming, and to be mindful of that and to be ready for the new normal. So
all right,
helps.
How can folks, what time is the summit? Where can they access it?
The summit is tomorrow from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. We have a bit.ly link. It's bit.ly Not Your Average Banker Summit. And we have a host of people that'll be there. We have bankers, we have business owners, and we're going to be talking about how do you build relationships with your bankers? How do you grow your business? How do you remain hopeful in this time? So we're going to give great information about, banking relationships, business relationships, and how important those things are. So 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's a free event. You must register in order to participate. And so we hope as many of your listeners and followers will come and join us and hear our conversation. I think it's going to be really helpful for a lot of people.
All right, then. We certainly appreciate it. Thank you so very much. And
Thank you for having me.
And good luck with it.
Okay, great. Thank you so much.
Thank you so very much. Every single night, we've got some of the top black experts. You're not going to see them on cable news or broadcast news because you swear black people aren't experts when it comes to this health crisis. That's why we have this show and why we do what we do every day on Roland Martin Unfiltered. Joining us right now is retired General Russell Honore, the nation's first black Surgeon General, Dr. Joycelyn Elders.
John Hope Bryant, he's the founder of Operation Hope.
Senator Kamala Harris of California, Dr. Cedrina Calder, retired General Lloyd Austin, Congresswoman Karen Bass, Commissioner Omari Harding, Bureau President in Brooklyn, Eric Adams, Dr. Joseph Graves, America's Wealth Coach, Deborah Owens, Dr. Corey Hebert, Patel Saul, Howard University student, Pastor Jamal Bryant, Dr. Christy McDowell, Benja Ajilore, senior economist at the Center for American Progress, Gilda Daniels, again, author of the book, The Crisis of Voter Suppression in America. 4 stars, General Kip Ward, Dr. Oliver Brooks is president of the National Medical Association, president of the American Medical Association, Dr. Patrice Harris, Joby Benjamin,
Dr. Alexia Gaffney, infectious disease specialist, Dr. Georges Benjamin, executive director of the American Public Health Association,
Malcolm Nance, family medicine physician, Dr. Jen Caudle, Dr. Tashaka Cunningham, a molecular biologist, Kat Stafford. She's a national race and ethnicity reporter for the Associated Press. Dr. Wayne A.I. Frederick, who is the president of Howard University, Congresswoman Yvette Clarke from the state of New York,
William Springs,
AFL-CIO economist, Andrea James, executive director of the National Council for Incarcerated and Formerly Incarcerated Women and Girls. All right, let's go to Capitol Hill. Congressman Gregory Meeks, Congresswoman Eddie Bernice Johnson of Texas, Congresswoman Barbara Lee, Minnesota Senator Amy Klobuchar, mental health clinician Jamie Singletary, Prince George's County State's Attorney Aisha Brayboy, as well as Dylan Hayrie, ACLU Justice Division strategist. Dr. Cindy Duke, she is a virologist. Principal Steve Perry of Capitol Prep. Health and wellness specialist Dr. Yolandra Hancock. Desmond Meade, president of the Florida Rights Restoration Coalition. Cliff Albright, who is the co-founder of Black Voters Matter. Michael Harriot with The Root. Mina McWhorter, founder of Love by the Hand. Dr. Julianne Malvo, economist, president, Emerita Bennett College. Coroner Michael Fowler is the mayor of Atlanta. Keisha Lance Bottoms, mental health therapist Suzette Clark.
Justin Gibney, attorney and political strategist, and Bishop Vincent Matthews Jr.
Dr. Suzette McKinney, CEO and executive director of the Illinois Medical District. Dr. Leon Madugal, president-elect of the National Medical Association. Jana Bailey, mayor of Moss Point, Mississippi. Mario King.
We're going to keep driving this thing to make sure our people are fully aware, safe, protected from coronavirus. You're getting the top medical experts, the top business experts, top political experts, top religious experts, because that's why we do what we do. Unapologetically and unfiltered. Ain't nobody else in the black media space doing what we do. Watch Roland Martin Unfiltered daily at 6 p.m. Eastern on YouTube, Facebook, or Periscope, or go to RolandMartinUnfiltered.com.
Support the Roland Martin Unfiltered Daily Digital Show by going to RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. Our goal is to get 20,000 of our fans contributing $50 each for the whole year. You can make this possible. RolandMartinUnfiltered.com.